They say don't judge a book by its cover, but in our neighborhood, that advice might as well be written in invisible ink. We had an HOA president. Her name was Marlene, but everyone behind closed doors called her Karen, and she had a gift for sticking her nose where it didn't belong. On a breezy Thursday morning, she crossed a line that no one thought she'd dare to. She broke into a government-leased Jeep that was part of an undercover police task force. And the fallout, it shook our quiet community to its core. My name's Daniel Reyes, and I'm a detective with the local sheriff's department. I've been working undercover for almost 8 months now, embedded in a multi-agency task force targeting illegal firearms flooding into our state. We work quietly, with minimal markings, often parking unmarked vehicles in residential areas to blend in. My house, a small, 2-bedroom fixer-upper tucked in a cul-de-sac, had always been the perfect safe zone. That is, until Marlene decided that my Jeep, the one I parked discreetly in my own driveway, was a neighborhood eyesore that needed to be dealt with. It started 2 weeks ago when I found a bright orange sticker slapped across the windshield. Vehicle in violation of HOA standards, remove within 72 hours or face penalties. I'd seen her do it to others, a guy with an old fishing boat, a college student's dirt bike, but I figured she'd have the decency to knock on my door first. She didn't. I peeled the sticker off, crumpled it, and tossed it. I should have known better. 3 days later, I came home late from a surveillance op, bone-tired and running on half a granola bar. My Jeep was gone. At first, I thought it had been stolen. My heart dropped. That vehicle wasn't just a Jeep. It was wired with secure comms, covert surveillance equipment, and a custom laptop containing months of data. Losing it was more than a personal blow, it was a breach of federal law. I called dispatch. No report of a tow or police action. That's when I noticed the snapped master lock on my side gate, the one I used to discreetly access my driveway without drawing attention. Someone had trespassed. I checked the security camera I'd mounted under the eaves. What I saw made my blood boil. There she was, Marlene, standing in her pressed khakis and floral blouse, flanked by 2 HOA board members. They had bolt cutters. They went around the front gate, entered my property without permission, cut the lock, and called a private tow company. The footage showed them high-fiving like they'd just bagged a criminal. She had no idea what she had just done. I didn't react with rage, not yet. I took the footage straight to my captain. Within hours, the task force activated protocol, secure all data, retrieve the vehicle, and initiate a formal investigation. But I wanted more than a quiet sweep up. The next day, I wore my badge, clearly visible, and knocked on Marlene's door. She answered with that smug smile, the one that had earned her a reputation around the neighborhood. "Can I help you, officer?" "Yes, ma'am," I said, showing her the footage from my phone. "This is you breaking into a federal agent's property and towing a law enforcement vehicle. You're aware that's a felony, correct?" Her smile faltered like someone pulled the plug on her bravado. I didn't know. There were no markings. I assumed it was abandoned. "Did you ask? Did you call? Did you leave a notice on my door? Or check with law enforcement?" She stammered. "But this neighborhood has standards. I get complaints." I thought, "You thought wrong. And because of your recklessness, you've compromised a federal operation. We've had to relocate an entire unit. Evidence has been exposed. Do you understand the gravity of what you've done?" Her knees literally buckled. She sat down on her porch bench, breathing heavy, like she couldn't believe she might actually face consequences. But the story didn't end with her apology, which she never actually gave, by the way. The board tried to cover it up. Claimed it was a misunderstanding. Even tried to fine me for unauthorized parking. I took it public, with permission from my department. I released the footage, redacted of sensitive elements, and went to the next HOA meeting. Half the neighborhood showed up. For years, they'd been quietly bullied by Marlene and her board, told what color curtains to use, fined for having garden gnomes. One woman was written up for hanging laundry outside. This Jeep incident had pulled the curtain back. It showed that the rules weren't about safety or aesthetics, they were about control. People started speaking up. Not just about Marlene, but about how afraid they'd been to rock the boat. An elderly veteran stood up and talked about how he was fined $500 for installing a flagpole on his front lawn. A single mother shared how she was reported for letting her kids use chalk on the sidewalk. The meeting turned into a full-blown reckoning. By the end of that month, a petition had circulated. The board was dissolved, and a new vote was called. Marlene was removed, officially and permanently. I didn't run for the board, but I helped organize a community safety committee, one that was actually about protecting people, not punishing them. As for the Jeep, we recovered it within 24 hours. Thankfully, nothing had been accessed. But the tow company faced legal action for towing a government vehicle without verifying registration, and they ended up settling out of court. Sometimes people forget that the need for power can blind them to the boundaries of decency. Marlene learned the hard way. Her war on ugly cars and out-of-code paint ended when she broke the lock on a vehicle she had no business touching. But more importantly, the community woke up. People stopped being afraid. They started helping each other instead of reporting each other. And our neighborhood, for the first time in years, finally felt like a place worth coming home to. So if you're dealing with a Karen of your own, remember this. Sometimes the best way to take back your power is to show up with the truth and a badge.